Everybody, you know what time it is. Coming up next, the Real Talk Sports Show. It will be on your screen or in your ear in just a moment. Here we go. Bam! Welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host and minister, Jonathan Simmons. We thank God for all those of you who are watching us on one of the various platforms. We definitely want to give a big shout out to those of you watching us on the replay. That means you took time out of your busy schedule to watch us on demand. So we appreciate you for doing that. Thank you, and thank you. Remember, of course, follow us anywhere on social media at Real Talk Sports, the number 7. And we've done that now even on YouTube. So yeah, you just find us Real Talk Sports the number 7. Look for us, and we will be there. So again, check us out anywhere you can, and please go ahead and subscribe. Click the magic bell when you're there, bing, and I'll let you know when we are on the air. Now, I want to also say thank you for those of you who have now pushed us over the 700 mark on YouTube subscribers. We're now just about 280 some odd subscribers away from the fantastic number of 1,000 subscribers. So again, we appreciate you for joining us, and we appreciate you for following us on social media, whatever platform you do that. Remember, social media, Real Talk Sports, the number 7. You can follow me personally at Minister J Sim. All right, guys, now when we do this show, we bring on one of the most beautiful women in sports talk radio or TV. We simply call her the Queen. Tree Dolman is back in the building. What's going on, Tree?
Hey, Jonathan. Hi, everyone.
What's up?
What's up?
How was your weekend, Tree?
My weekend was pretty awesome. Went to see some friends. One of my friends opened up a spa in Kennesaw, so everyone go and check it out. Zuzu Spa. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, in Kennesaw. It was just a beautiful experience. And then one of my other friends got engaged, and then another friend won her national beauty pageant. So now she has joined us as National Beauty Queen. So it was just a really awesome weekend. How was your weekend?
My weekend was filled with lots of sports watching, as everybody, of course, and we'll talk about that in the college football segment. Like most of America, I was glued to my set for must see TV as the Colorado Buffaloes took on the then 17th ranked TCU Horned Frogs in Fort Worth, and it was worth the watch. And we'll talk about that. For those of you who've been in the cave, the Colorado Buffaloes won that game in a thriller, 45-42. So we'll talk about that and the impact that's going to have going forward. And just like you said, just big news coming out of that arena. Other thing we want to talk about is the Braves. They continue to just roll on. I mean, they are absolutely incredible how they're playing there. If Tyrone was here, he always likes to talk about how they've done in their last 10 games. And the Braves are 8-2 out on the West Coast. They went out the West Coast and took care of business. Took the Dodgers 3 out of 4, and I believe did the same thing to the Giants. And the Dodgers series was a big, I don't know what you want to call a message, but certainly letting the Dodgers know, if you play us in the postseason, we got something for you. So yeah, Braves, they're just rolling. I mean, what they're doing now. Of course, they need to win, the World Series to make it all right. But at the end of the day, yeah, man, these guys are balling out. I mean, they're just
They are.
Must see TV. And congratulations to Ronald Acuna. Ronald Acuna is now a married man, happily married, and he has become in a class of just one. He became the first man in Major League history to hit 30 or more homers and steal 60 bases in a single season.
Yes,
So
on
big shout
his
out to Ron
way.
Acuna. All right, guys,
Mhm.
he's just he's balling out, and I think he, barring a total collapse in the last couple of months, I think he's pretty much have ended the conversation about who's the MVP, him or Mookie Bettis, because like I said again, he's putting up just some phenomenal numbers in that series. I think he had 2 or 3 homers, knocked in 5 or 6 runs. So he tried to make his own statement that hey, if you guys are trying to think about this MVP thing, you need to be picking me, Mr. Acuna. So great stuff again by the Braves. They continue to roll on and do what they need to do. Because we're going to do our high school, our top 5 plays. Also want to talk a little about women's sports. I know great stuff going on in U.S. Open tennis and also in WNBA right down the road. Dream was trying to make their move to make sure they're in the postseason play. So, Tree, any updates from us in the world of women's sports?
Yeah, so with the US Open, we have Coco Gauff, who is the first American out of men or women to go this far for the quarterfinals. Of course, not with since Serena Williams, but she is really just making her way and looking like she's having a good time out there playing. And I just watched the quarterfinals for the doubles where the number 11 seed knocked out the number 6 seed. There's a lot of great tennis being played with the WNBA. The Atlanta Dream are currently in 6th place. They're playing the Storm tomorrow. But we need some wins, right? Because we need to make sure that we get into the playoffs. I think once they can get into the playoffs, everything should be good for them. They have one injury that was reported, but we'll see. Great things happening in women's sports. I encourage everyone to please watch the US Open if you have not been watching it. When I tell you this tennis is so phenomenal. I mean, it's anybody's game. That the top seeds have been knocked out. It's anybody's game. So definitely take care and definitely watch the WNBA. We know that's some exciting basketball that's being played. There's so many great sports right now, Jonathan. We have US Open. We have the WNBA. We have college football is back. Yes. We have the NFL that's starting, regular season. Yes. We have Formula One racing, which I am now a huge fan of Formula One. Lewis Hamilton, let's go. And there's just so many great things going. And of course, always golf. So make sure you guys are tuning in to the phenomenal sports. Hope I didn't miss any. But, oh, yeah, duh. Can we not forget one of my favorite sports is volleyball season, and Nebraska just broke a record playing out in the football field. Outside, it was just so great. So it's also volleyball season for indoor. So make sure you go and support your indoor teams. Speaking of which, for those who don't know, I think I've said before, the Atlanta finally has a professional women's volleyball team. Woo! The Atlanta Vibe will start playing here in Atlanta they start playing in January 2024, but the first match is February 2024. I know I will be there. I'm already looking to get season tickets. We'll have to see the pricing and how it works. If I can actually attend a lot of the games, then it'll make sense for me to become a season ticket holder. But I will definitely be supporting because I have been wanting professional volleyball so bad, and now it's here. So I'm going to make sure that I support with not just my mouth, but with my money.
So now, where are the games going to be played?
They're going to be played at what's the new center on Sugarloaf Parkway? You know,
oh, no wonder you're excited about getting season tickets. That's in your backyard.
Yes, I don't have to drive so far.
Yeah, it'll be a little hard for us. We definitely want to go up there and get a chance to see that and support. It's going to be, I think, epic to have volleyball here. I know that when I went and covered the beach volleyball, it was a lot of people out there. and a lot of enthusiasm. So I think it is something long overdue. So yeah, kudos for Atlanta once again bringing another sport, another professional sport here. We know that the Women's Football League, the Atlanta Rage, several of their players I think are involved in some type of big football tournament. So yeah, man, it's just there's just a lot of stuff going on in the world of sports all around Atlanta. And you know how we do it, guys. We try to bring you like everything as much as we can. We're not ESPN. We try to give you a little snippet of all the things that are going on in the world of sports. So you can see, especially things that happen here in Metro Atlanta, because there's so much to see and do. So again, guys, if you have the opportunity, get out there and support, because it's really there's nothing like watching live sports. Yeah, I mean, it's great to see it on TV, but when you're there and you got that energy and you can see it live, it's a whole different ball game. So again, guys, if you can get out there to go ahead and do that, please, man, please, sir, and please do go out and check it out and support. Because, like you said, man, that's what it's all about. I mean, these people cannot do what they do unless you are in fact part of it. And speaking of support, unfortunately, we do have to mention some sad news on the show. Our hearts and prayers certainly go out to Hugh Douglas and his family. Unfortunately, a tragic accident claimed the life of his son and a fellow Morehouse student. Let me get some kind of the headlines on that, but definitely a sad situation as he was killed in a car crash just outside of Metro Atlanta, Georgia. And I'll get you the headlines here from CBS TV. It says Hugh Douglas, the son of former the Eagles Hall of Famer Hugh Douglas, was killed in a single vehicle crash right just around after 5 p.m. in East Point on Monday, and that literally happened not too far away from me. It said the spokesperson for the Georgia State Patrol said the car struck a power pole at Church Street and Linwood Avenue, overturned and killed both of the young men that were there. So it was Hugh Douglas's son and Christian Fowles Jr. Both of these men were going to be they were studying business administration. Both were members of the class of 2025, and certainly, I'm sure had big things in store for them in terms of their plans. So again, our condolences to the Hugh Douglas family and also the Morehouse family, and our good buddy from up in the Cummings area, Sullivan says also, yeah, it's very, very sad, and prayers for the family. Certainly, we want to do that. And for those of you who are not familiar with Hugh Douglas, outside of his playing, 92.9, kind of the big sports station in Atlanta. He had been a stalwart on the morning show, him and John Fricke for years. So again, our condolences to him. Because it's always tough for a parent to have to put their children to rest, because that's something you never, it's something you're not thinking about. And so again, my condolences to him. Yeah, just tough stuff to hear that on a holiday weekend. But like I said, our support is with him and with his family. We're going to take a little bit of an early break, and then we're going to come back. We're getting our highlights loaded up for high school football, and we'll be back to talk about that and more sports talk in just a moment. You were listening, watching, and tuned in to the Real Talk Sports Show. We'll be back with more great sports talk in just a moment. Please don't go anywhere. Thank you, and thank you.
The day has arrived. It's time to let more people know about your business. You have the right marketing plan and the messaging in place. But do you have the right messenger? Good advertising and promotions need a professional sound so the message can be clearly understood. Don't leave your brand image to chance. Let our team of voiceover experts at CME lend you a hand. Give us a call at 678-304-8121 to find out how we can partner with you to give your business its voice. Fans, tune in for live high school football Fridays, 7:30 p.m. on RealTalkSports.net. Check out your favorite Metro Atlanta teams as they do battle on the gridiron. It's your high school game of the week, live streaming free Friday nights on RealTalkSports.net. For more sports coverage and great sports talk, catch the Real Talk Sports Show Tuesdays, 8 p.m. on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Twitch. Brought to you by Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, a business giving back to their community. Give them a call at 678-364-3979 or check them out online at AllenVigilFord.net.
Yeah, high school football, guys. We bring it to you every Friday night, 7:30 usually. We also occasionally bring you some high school football on Thursdays and Saturdays. True, they got me. I guess you're trying to wear me out because we've had we've had games Thursday, Saturday, Friday. But it's good to be out here and supporting the kids. Let's go to social media here. Maybe you can read this for me, Tree, if you could.
It should always be the parents who go first and see their kids live their lives as parents live their lives fully. A sad day in the ATL family. Yes, so very true.
No
So
doubt. And Sullivan, we appreciate you for all your comments. And like I said again, very, very sad, but we pray that him and his family will be able to remember the good times and the memories of that young man, and that in due time the Lord will comfort them, because it is very, very difficult. I'm sure you've experienced it when you have a loss of a loved one. It's just even time sometimes can't heal the wound. So again, our prayers are with him as we go forward. Well, speaking of going forward, we're going to shift our gears here and talk a little high school football. A lot of great high school football went on during this weekend all across Metro Atlanta. And Tree, we finally had a close competitive game after watching weeks upon weeks of blowouts, shutouts. We finally had a game that lived up to its billing. Dutchtown, one of the better teams in Henry County, squared off against Jonesboro, one of the better teams in Clayton County. And these two teams did not disappoint at all. The final score, Jonesboro 30, Dutchtown 29. So it was a barn burner. It came down to the literally last couple of plays of the game. Jonesboro went up by 2 touchdowns thanks to the outstanding play by one of their star defensive backs. Mr. John Tavius Wyman had a game for the ages for Jonesboro. Not 1, not 2, but 3 interceptions and a unbelievable 2 of them run back for pick 6 touchdowns.
Oh, okay.
And Jonesboro had a big margin in the game. They're up 30-15. But to Dutchtown's credit, they stormed back late in the fourth quarter, and it was 30-29. And the coach said, "I'm going for the win on a neutral site." They tried for a 2-point conversion, and Jonesboro stopped them at about the 1, and then they got the ball back and ran out the clock. So yeah, definitely a thriller. Let's go to social media here one more time here. What's Sullivan saying about, what does it say?
How about the Druid Hills Red Devils?
That's your team there, Sullivan? I don't know too much about Druid Hill. We have to look them up. Druid Hill. Give me the rundown. I think they're North DeKalb school, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So if you got some good news about them there, Sullivan, let us know, brother. We'll shout them out. No worries. We definitely want to do that. Let's see if we can take a peek here. Oh, I see why he's talking. I've gone on the Max Preps, and it does appear that Druid Hills football is undefeated so far in their first 3 games, 2-0-1. And matter of fact, had a tie last week against Berkmar, a very good team. Matter of fact, Jason, my cameraman, covered them as well. So, yeah, there he is.
Okay. He said, "Let's go, baby."
Oh, man, he said his boys are taking care of business. All right, let's see if I can grab that clip
It's
here.
about time.
It's like he's been waiting for a while. Let's see if I can get some clips here. Our man Jason took these shots, and these were the plays of the week, Tree, and we can hopefully pick out some winners from this. It's top plays from our game, shootout, Jonesboro versus Dutchtown, courtesy of our good buddy Jason Hunniger, our cameraman. All right, a lot of action there. Want to get an opinion from you guys. What do you think are the top ones there? And this Sullivan said, "Hey, did you see that arm? What do you say
That
about the
QB
quarterback
is
three?
on fire.
Yeah, it definitely was a very exciting game as both teams kind of went back and forth. But certainly, the star of the game was number 3, and that was Jontavius Wyman. If you guys want to see our post game interview, go to our YouTube page, or you can go to also our Instagram page to get a clip of that. Yeah, he was dominant. What do you think, Tree? What do you think about those clips? Who do you like as the number one of those? Actually, I think we had 6 clips instead of 5. But anyway, who do you like?
Nice clips. My favorite one is the first pick 6 for number 3.
First pick 6 for number 3. It was a nice one. I'm trying to think, dude. I think I'm going to go for the pick 6 number 3 because that actually kind of turned out to be the winning score. So we're gonna go with the pick 6 number 2.
Okay.
Tree goes to pick 6 number 1. The bottom line is, oh man, Jontavius is a guy that we are going to be showing a lot of love to. Like I said again, if you guys want to see our post game interview, you can go to Real Talk Sports and number 7 on Instagram. You also can go to our YouTube page and see either the clip or the full interview. It's up and running right now on those pages. So again, big shout out to my man number 3, Jontavius Murray. You know what, Tree? They have a new name now for players, and I guess they're going to call the young man out of Colorado the same thing. They don't call them when they play multiple positions now. They simply have a new term called ATH. They just call them athletes. No more. No. They got that new designation now. It's ATH. Because he even had to correct himself in the interview. First he said DB. It's ATH. That's it. Oh no. All right, I'm gonna have to let you read what your boy Todd is saying on social media. Please help us out.
He said all those high school QBs look better than Ritter.
Let me go ahead. Let me do this right here on that.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, that's funny. He said
Todd throwing shade as always, and so I had to put my shades on after that remark. Ridiculous.
Oh, that's funny,
All
Todd.
right. How about our cameraman Jason? I think he jumped into the fray. What does he have to say about those clips?
He said the great catch was amazing. Did you see how he grabbed it with his fingertips and got his feet in bounds? Actually, yes, that was amazing. How he had to and then caught it and stayed in bounds. That is true.
So apparently, Jason is going for the fingertip catch
he's
as being the one that he likes the best. Let's see if I can grab a hold of that interview here. I'm going to try to upload that really quickly if I can, so you guys can see young Mr. Jontavius did a great job. I think we got more comments on social media, Tree, if I'm not mistaken.
Somebody said you wish. No, Sullivan said you wish. I'm trying to think what
Let's go back. I think maybe he's talking about Todd's comment.
All those high school QBs look better than Ritter. Oh, he was saying you wish. Oh, okay.
I think so.
That boy
we got here from
can you go back?
Oh, one second. We go.
That boy is going to light up the league, Ritter. Ritter.
Okay. I think you'll be surprised. I really think
voting for that one. Okay.
All right. So Jason's voting for the fingertip catch. Tree is voting for the first interception. I'm voting for the second interception. And like I said, again, I'm going to try to see if I can get this young man's interview up here really quickly.
It's not an interception. It's a pick 6. There's a big difference between an interception and a pick 6.
Okay. Technically, a pick 6 is an interception that has been returned for a touchdown.
That is true, but it's not just an interception. So there's a difference from a pick 6 and an interception. Because an interception means you just intercepted the ball. But when you pick 6, that means you intercepted and you scored a touchdown.
She's getting me straightened out, boys. She's getting me straightened out. All right, I think I might be able to get a little clip of this young man in the post-game interview. This is a small snippet. Again, you can go to YouTube and see the entire, I think it's about a minute and a half interview. This is only about maybe 20 or 30 seconds. And we grabbed this off of Instagram. So we're going to see if we can pop this up right now. So see if we can grab this here. Everybody, want to get one more player here before everybody wrapped up. This young man's going to introduce himself to you right now.
My name is Jontavius. I'm a class 126 corner. Well, ATH.
Well, listen, you had a big game. It was really dominating. You guys had 3 interceptions, 2 of them for the pick 6. What did you see to allow you to make these big plays time and time again in this game?
Just keep constantly working.
And he talked a little bit more about their game plan and so forth. So again, guys, if you want to see that whole interview in the full HD, go to our YouTube page and check it out from there. Let's go back to social media one more time.
Yes, read that one where he said yes, voting for that one.
Okay, and let's go to this one. Here we go.
No, I vote for the QB dive. Okay.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Todd says 1072 GA. Yeah, I don't know what that means either. Great QBs in Georgia.
Hey, Tree, don't tell anybody, but I think Todd has a problem typing on his phone. I think that first one at 102.72 GA, he was trying to say what he said in the second one. Yeah, Todd got a little.
Well, he's right, because I will tell everyone, and it's funny because I was just talking to my honorary nephew and his dad the other day, because he actually used to be one of the top quarterbacks in the state of Georgia. And Clemson was recruiting him when Clemson were the champions. And he was all that and 10 bags of chips. And he, at one point, he wanted to play quarterback in the NFL. And I just knew he was going to get there because his arm was amazing. Even when he was a little kid, it was just so accurate. I mean, just so talented. But then when he went to high school, his high school team was not good because he went to a private school. And all of his life playing football, he was used to winning and winning. He didn't know what losing felt like. And then he went to high school and the team was losing and losing and losing. And after the second year, he quit. And he said, you know what? I'm just going to focus on basketball. So if he would have went to a high school that had, which don't get me wrong, like the football team was bad, but the high school team was good, right? So it was like, And so now he's in college playing basketball. But just like I told them the other day, I said, you know, you didn't play football in college, but you still have it and you still could go out there. And I think he would definitely make a team because he works hard and he still goes and throws. I mean, just a great, phenomenal athlete, but even better human being.
Well, you know, we have stories like that. I mean, things have happened where guys have been, you know, not playing. Of course, we know about the movie recently about Kurt Warner. You know, Kurt at one point was bagging groceries. He'd stopped playing for a while, went up going to Europe, played over here for a while, and next thing you know, heck, let's look here at our guy Sullivan. Sullivan, what's he saying there, Tree?
He said we always hit those crossroads, and we just have to make stuff better and better each day. That's true. Tell him to come to UGA. Oh, who, my nephew? Yeah, hey. I don't think he would, but you never know. Yeah.
I mean, he likes winning, and certainly the Bulldogs have been doing their share of winning, so he might like that. Speaking of winning, and we'll talk a little bit about college football in just a second. Matter of fact, you know what? This is an optimum time. We'll take a break. We'll come back and talk a little college football because there was a whole lot going on in college. So to check us out, we'll be right back with more of the Real Talk Sports Show in just a moment. Stay tuned, please.
Did you know that Allen Vigil Ford in Morrow, Georgia also has Lincoln? Over 35 years of using the Vigil Touch to provide excellent customer service, works hand in hand with the Lincoln Motor Company to provide a luxurious and seamless way to acquire your next luxury vehicle. Lincoln has an array of full-service complimentary owner benefits. These benefits include hospitality partnerships, service pickup and delivery, all which can be accessed through the Lincoln Way app. You can even contact the 24/7 concierge to have someone assist you. Come and see our great inventory of new and pre-owned Lincolns today. Call 678-364-7345 to make an appointment with one of our brand champions or shop 24/7 online at allenvigillincoln.net.
This is OJ Howard with Real Talk Sports.
What's up, guys? This is Tim Tebow. You're listening to Real Talk Sports.
This is Charles Woodson.
me grab the mic. You ready? This is Charles Woodson with Real Talk Sports. Hey, it's your boy JB Smooth with Real Talk Sports.
All right, we are back, guys, here with more of the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister Jonathan Simmons, and right next to me is the lovely Miss Tree Dolman. Well, Tree, I know you're very excited because somebody that you like, or I should say a team you like, has the honor of doing something this year. And, well, actually, you know what? Let me not do that. Let me put the brakes. That's the NFL. Talk about that later. College football. I heard that a team that has colors, I think, what they call maize and blue, is amongst the top ranked teams in college football. Many people pick them as a favorite to get back to the college football playoffs. What do you think about your guys up there in Michigan?
My Michiganders and the guys up in Michigan, I am excited about this season. I think that we're coming back with a vengeance. It's not going to be an easy task, but I think it will be one that we will accomplish. And I just can't wait. I will be watching every step of the way. Go Blue.
Yeah, no doubt. As we mentioned, to begin the season, they were ranked number 2 in the country, and that has remained the same. Let's go ahead and take a look at the AP polls right now as we speak. I'm gonna pull it up, and it looks like college football ranking. Yeah, it hasn't changed much. Number 1 overall, still those Georgia Bulldogs after winning against, come on, playing kind of inferior talent there. Michigan won their game. They also are 1-0. They're ranked number 2. Alabama has now squeezed up to the number 3 spot, 1-0. Florida State.
Oh, so they took out Ohio State.
Yep. So they have moved up. And I tell you somebody else who also moved ahead of the Buckeyes in the Big Ten after their beatdown of LSU, the 5th ranked team. The Florida State Seminoles are now ranked number 4 in the nation. And a lot of people say that they look like a legitimate college football championship contender. Because I was shocked. They spanked LSU. Yeah. Here's the LSU team that last year they beat Alabama.
Yeah, so, they did.
Yeah.
They did that.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, speaking of Ohio State, they're number 5. USC, the only team in the one of only 2 teams in the top 10 to have played 2 games. They're 2-0. They're at number 6. Penn State, the Nittany Lions, number 7. The Washington Renegade Huskies, I shouldn't call them that, leaving the Pac-12 after this year, number 8. Tennessee Volunteers, after they thumped their opponent, they're at number 9. And Notre Dame, after beating down an outman Tennessee State, led by College Football Hall of Famer Eddie George, rounds out the top 10. Texas at 11, right behind them. They have a big showdown this weekend against the Alabama Crimson Tide. So, yeah, everybody pretty much is, holding tight. Georgia still looks like the team to beat. A lot of Georgia fans. Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. Georgia fans, I think sometimes a little delusional. They just don't seem to know how to enjoy winning or losing. They can't seem to do any one of them well. A lot of complaints. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't get it.
No, I said, why did you say that? You said a lot of complaints?
Yeah, so, they won their game. I think the final score was 49-7 or something like that. And people complain. They complain about the play call, and they said they look sluggish. Look, man, you don't get the style points for this.
Serious?
Yeah.
It's the first game of the season, people.
Yeah. They beat Tennessee Martin 48-7. And everybody, they just complained. Like you said, they didn't look that good. They looked a little sluggish. Carson Beck, the kind of heir apparent, 21 of 31, 294, 1 touchdown. Kendall Milton, with a host of other running backs, he was the guy that had the most, 9 carries for 53 yards. And Brock Browers, probably one of the great tight ends in recent history, 5 receptions, 77 yards. But they were dominant. I don't get it. Everybody complained because they were only up 17-0 at the half, only up 31-0 at the end of 3 quarters, and everybody, I guess, expected them to hang up 60 or 70 points on them. So,
oh my goodness, yeah, they need
delusional.
They need to get a grip. A win is a win. Period.
Right. Yeah. So, it's ridiculous.
Sullivan said, "This is your one and only Sully with Real Talk Sports, the best in the A-Town, the best in the game. Okay.
Oh man.
One and
Oh my man.
only Sully. I love it.
No doubt. And I definitely, even though it's a little bit of a ride, whether it be a weekend, maybe I'll do a little pop-up. We definitely want to come out there and check out his hamburger place. I bet you they got some slamming burgers. I just got that feeling.
I bet you so as well.
Also, a comment I say
Yeah,
here.
Tennessee Martin is not even a team that can match to the Southeast Conference. That is a fact, almost, right?
Yeah, I mean,
because
look,
sometimes you just never know.
yeah, you hit it on the head. I mean, you just don't know. I remember last year. Now, of course, Missouri is an SEC team. I mean, they gave Georgia all they could give them, and it took a last, fourth quarter drive and defensive stop for Georgia to win that game, or else they wouldn't have been undefeated last year. I mean, things happen. Your team, as much as you want them to get up for every game, sometimes they can't do that. So, I mean, to me, 48-7, that's pretty good beatdown.
He said best burger in Forsyth.
They say 4 years. Is that 4 years in a row? Did I read that right? It looks like 4 years in a row, I think. Yeah, so that's good stuff. All right, we gotta come out there, bro, and check you out for real, for real. All right. The other thing here, we're gonna try to reboot out. There she is. Yeah, we had a momentary freeze frame on you, Tree, so we got you back there.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, but that's okay. But yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, we want to get out there, man. Taste your burgers, check them out. I'm sure he got like a special, like, super duper cheeseburger thing that he does. So we're looking forward to that. All right. Tree, the other big game that had the whole country talking is, of course, Colorado Buffaloes heading down on the road to Fort Worth, Texas, to take on TCU. And what were your thoughts about that game? Because it was epic.
Well, I will say that Deion Sanders' coaching, it just goes to show that he knows what he's doing to take a team that won one game season and then the first game of the season to beat the team that played in the national championship that's ranked in the top 25. I mean, and not just that, but he also had two players break a school record in that first game of this, again, first game of the season against played in the national championship. I'm the beginning. This is just the beginning, and he has definitely shown the world that it's prime time.
Yeah, no doubt. And before we do it, we got a couple of comments real quick on Georgia. There's our buddy H.C. Hardy. What's he saying there?
H.C. Hardy said they're delusional because of them bringing back Moke Bobo as OC.
I think it's Mike.
Oh, Mike Bobo as OC, which he was to blame when he was under Wright.
Yeah, so Coach Mark Richt, Bobo had a lot of blame for their losses there. Yeah, and then Sullivan says, "Hey, you're out of your mind." I think he said that. There it is.
He said, "You're out of your mind."
Yeah, listen. At the end of the day, it's like this: Georgia, number one team in the country, they won 48-7. Everybody needs to get over themselves. I mean, it's ridiculous that Georgia fans would even be talking about this. So I don't get it. It's just like, hey, man, take the win, be quiet, and move on, and get ready for the teeth of your season. And this idea that that you're going to be beating people 71 and nothing, all that kind of stuff. I mean, those things happen every now and then, but that's, I don't get it. It's just
I mean, honestly, really, what matters is you're trying to three-peat. You're trying to do something that's never been done.
Right.
Yes, when teams win a national championship, sometimes people remember the score, right? Sometimes they don't. They just know, hey, who is the team that won the championship? It was that team. Seriously, a W is a W. I would take a W any way you can get it. Every game isn't going to be a blowout. And again, a lot of this game was pretty much a gimme game, right? It's just to get them warm and get them going through the motions and their plays and all of that. So we'll see how they do when they're playing the Tennessees and the Alabamas and the Michigan.
Yeah, I mean,
a chance.
yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, these games are just what they're supposed to be. They're really warm-up, tune-up games. You don't really have an off season. And when your team like Georgia, Alabama, even Michigan, all these top teams, they're looking to get guys that are these five-star guys they brought in who were third on the depth chart, second on the depth chart, sometimes fourth on the depth chart. Let those guys get a taste of game action. You're number one to kind of say, okay, they're in there. Number two, you just never know when things happen, get injuries, that you're going to need those guys. So that's it. Well, let's get back to the Buffaloes. Yeah, as you mentioned, this first stat is just mind-boggling. This first stat I'm going to read you for Mr. Shedeur Sanders is just incredible. First game, D1, like you mentioned, a team that came to this game 17th ranked. Let's read the stats. Shedeur Sanders, 38 of 47, 510 yards, 4 touchdown passes, and no picks. I mean, to give you an idea, guys, 38 of 47, that's like completing somewhere around 80% of your passes. And he threw 47. Insane. Yeah, absolutely insane.
That is insane.
Legendary performance. Okay, let's go here. I think we got some more. Go ahead.
All right. Those Clemson fans are definitely the ones delusional this year, losing to Duke. That's what H.C. Hardy said.
Yeah, Clemson, there's a lot of slinging, I don't say slinging mud, but a lot of people are poking at Clemson. They're poking at Dabo Swinney because he's been a guy that's been very vociferous about the idea of players being in the portal. He said, I'm not going to do that. Forget this thing about kids transferring. Well, the realities are almost every sports show talked about the fact that it was transfer students that made big impacts on their teams winning, aka the Colorado Buffaloes.
Yeah.
And many other teams around the country. So a lot of people are here we go. Oh my gosh.
Todd said, hey, Duke pretty food.
Okay.
Duke
pretty good.
I think. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Hey, Todd, remember you were getting on me about my bad Wi-Fi? Well, you need to check your typing fingers, bro. Because if I had left this out here, we would still been trying to figure out what you're talking about with pretty food.
Well, I figured that one out.
See how your girl helped you out. See, Tree helped you. See,
that's right. You know I help you, Todd. You know I got your back, Todd.
You got yourself a friend there, buddy boy. Yeah, so just epic game. Dylan Edwards, another guy, huge game. 5 receptions, 133 yards, 3 touchdown receptions for him. Yeah, and then of course, the guy that grew up right down the road here. The performance from number 12 was insane. The guy played, I believe, Travis Hunter is estimated that in 100-degree heat, he played over 90 plays. Mm-hmm. Like he was almost virtually never off the field.
Yeah. And he's another one that broke a record. And him and I was about to say Junior, but he's not Junior, but the quarterback have a deal with Actively Black, which is a clothing brand. And I'm just happy to see that their hard work is paying off. I actually forgot that Deion Sanders played in the World Series and in Super Bowls, and he's the only player to do so, which we know Bo played baseball and he played football, and there's been other players that have played in the Major League Baseball and in the NFL. But Deion Sanders is the only one to play in a World Series and a Super Bowl, which is phenomenal. And he did both of these sports for actually quite a while too. So it wasn't just like he played one season and he played for some great teams, like in both leagues. And it just, watching that back, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot. So I'm not surprised to see his son out there, because he has it naturally and then his hard work. So it's just really great to see when our youth put in the hard work and to see it pay off. So I'm very happy for them and them breaking a record. Again, this is just the first game of the season. So I'm pretty sure that we have so much more to see.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. And the other thing too is that being able to do all that and then also bring in some spiritual aspect. because throughout the whole situation, they mentioned, hey, if the Lord did not help us do this, we could not have done it. And they thanked the Lord repeatedly. So big shout out for him for not being ashamed to, broadcast the fact that the Lord was behind their success. And also that it was hard work. You got to talk about the hard work they put in to get things done, and the fact that they had the confidence. Now, Tree, how important is that? Having that confidence and the belief that, look, man, I don't care what anybody else says, I believe I can do it.
Well, one of my favorite quotes that I will always tell my players when I coach them, whether you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. So in order for you to go out, I don't care if you're playing Team USA, I don't care if you're playing the number 1 ranked team, you have to believe in your mind that you can beat them. And it starts with belief, because if you don't think that you can win, you've already lost the game before you even step on the court or the field. So I think that courage and that belief, knowing when they stepped on that field that, hey, we're going to beat this team. You hear a lot of times where some fans call people cocky. I love it, right? Because Kobe Bryant didn't become great not thinking he was the best. LeBron James didn't become great not thinking he was the best. Michael Jordan, they all thought they were the best. And when you step on the court, you have to play like you're the best. But the most important thing is you have to train like you're the best. When you train like you're the best and then you go out and play like you're the best and you think in your mind that you're the best, a lot of times you're going to defeat a lot of people who have that best number, and then you're going to become the best and get that best number. But it all starts with the mind and what you think you can do.
Well, that's it. Listen, that's good for anybody any age. That's a good word, because it is true. It is very much a mental thing. Now, even the Bible talks about renewing of your mind daily. It's all up here.
And even the Lord says, power of life and death lies in the tongue. So
in the tongue.
Speak. And I tell people all the time, because I hear people say negative things. I'm like, oh, you really shouldn't say that. If you knew how powerful your tongue was, you would never speak a negative word again. You would only speak positivity into your life. If you knew how powerful your mind was, you wouldn't even think negative thoughts. If they come in your mind, you would just push them out and you would think positive thoughts. A lot of people don't realize how powerful their tongue and their mind is. The power of life and death lies in the tongue.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I've been especially these last 6 months, as I tell people I'm on the reboot, Johnny 2.0, or somebody said Johnny the remix. That's the one thing I've really been doing, is focusing in on making sure that I'm looking at things the right way and I'm saying things right. I was in a point where I was getting a little fatigued as we got a little busy at work. And, the first instant, man, I'm so busy. But I said, whoa, time out. I said, time out. I said, you got a disconnect here. You've been asking the Lord to bless you with more sales. Now, when the sales come, you all of a sudden going to be like, no, what you're going to do is you're going to change your prayer. You're going to change it to, Lord, give me and expand my capacity to be able to receive these blessings that you poured upon me. And I will tell you, it's made a difference. It's made a difference. The sales have continued to go. We continue to move forward. We're on pace to reach some monetary goals that I set early in the year. And that was it. It really is a matter of, it's not, I tell people, it's not a magic wand. It's not abracadabra. It's not that, okay? But what it is, it's a mindset that has been proven both spiritually and tangibly to actually work. So why would you not want to do something that works? I'm just saying. So good looking out. All right, let's go back to social media. Your man Todd, there he is.
He said my Wi-Fi down using my neighbors. He don't know it. His Wi-Fi password is his dog's name. What a guess. Laugh out loud. Ty, you funny.
We don't want to be in the middle of that, bro.
That's
I don't
hilarious.
want to know nothing about that at all.
I know you watching the U.S. Open, Todd.
Well, you're watching that.
Yeah.
Let's go to more social media here. What do we got?
All right. H.C. Hardy says coaches should be very afraid of Colorado. Not only the possibility of losing, but also pregame and postgame of the opposing players trying to put a word into Deion. Transfer portal is for real. That's true, because who is it? It was, I can't remember the player and what school he was going to, but it was a top program. And he said he switched and he went to Colorado because of Deion. Listen, I don't blame you, right? The man is a Pro Football Hall of Famer. He's a great coach. not just that, but if you want to play in the NFL, you want to go somewhere where you're going to be seen, right? You want to go to a great program where you're going to be seen. And you know, everybody's watching Colorado. So you make these great plays, that's an easier chance for you getting in the minds of the NFL scouts, of the NFL GMs and the team owners, the coaches, everybody. Because again, everybody's watching Colorado. Those ratings have gone up. So I get it. Like you said, the transfer portal is real. And you best believe, especially after this season, which I'm assuming, that's assuming they continue to do the great things like they did in game one. If they can continue on this trajectory, everybody's going to be trying to come to Colorado. HC Hardy said, my only question with Colorado is when it gets very cold, how will those players adjust to playing in that weather? Yeah, because from experience, it is a different beast. I can believe that, HC Hardy. Listen, yeah, I don't like the cold. Everyone knows that. And people say, but you're from Michigan. And I say, yeah. So that means I like the cold just because I was born and raised in a cold state? That's why I don't like the cold. Of course, I can get used to it while I'm there. But playing in it, I always used to ask my husband, like, how did you do it? Because he said he didn't even wear the sleeves sometimes playing out in that snow and stuff. And listen, that's something I don't see how they do it. But that's a great thing to bring up. What do you think, Jonathan?
Well, at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot about, like you said, the mental thing. So we're going to see if all the things that these guys have learned from Coach Prime, are they going to be able to do it? Are they going to be able to have that mental discipline to go out and say, I can't think about the cold right now. I got to go on here and win this game. Yeah. And it's going to be a big test. Well, I tell you, it's going to be a bigger test is really next week. These guys play very well. But the question is now can they now go out in a game where they're going to be the favorite? Because that's going to be their first home game. The place is going to be rocking. They're playing a Nebraska team that's not the Nebraska of years gone by. If this was 15 years ago, this would be, it's going to be game day anyway, but it would really be game day because it would be a real rivalry. Not so much the case now. Nebraska's been down, not to the same level as Colorado, but pretty close. So the question is now with them being the favorite, being at home, all the expectations, how they handle this. Because it's a lot easier to win when you're the underdog. Everybody's counting you out versus now you're the favorite. You the honey. So, just saying.
It does make a difference.
Let's see what we got here on social media. I think that was from our
I said,
US
Tree,
Open.
you know it. I get out on
the court. From US Open before.
Okay, playing that tennis.
All right, we're going to blow past the break here because it's almost 9 o'clock hour. We're going to talk a little NFL. So our man Todd, here he goes.
Can we talk about how Ritter ain't one of Falcons' captains? Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right. Well, what are your thoughts about that, Tree? Is that a big deal that he's not one of the captains?
I say yes and I say no. And normally I'm not one to give two answers, but is it a big deal that he's not one of the captains? Yes, because he is the quarterback, and the quarterback leads the team. The quarterback is the head of the team. You want the guys to look up to the quarterback, right? At the same token, I say no, because he's still, even though he's not a rookie, this is only his second season, and he's still learning and trying to get everything together under his belt. I think once he gets more comfortable into the system and being able to run the team, then I think he'll be able to step up more and then take on that captain role. But so I'm kind of torn with both. What do you think, Jonathan? What's your opinion?
Well, it's interesting. Evidently, NFL, a Pro Football Talk kind of asked the same question as Todd. It says Falcons named 5 captains, but Desmond Ritter is not one of them. All right, well, let's take a look at these captains who they selected. Okay, let's take a look. The 5, what they call permanent captains for the Falcons are as follows. Defensive lineman Grady Jarrett, defensive back Jesse Bates, the 3rd, kicker Young Hui Koo, offensive lineman Jake Matthews and Chris Lindstrom were named the team's permanent captains from 2023. Koo, Jarrett, and Matthews are returning captains from 2022.
That's an interesting list, because I just knew, that's interesting. I just knew Calais Campbell would be on that list. He's a veteran, so why would he not be a captain?
I think that in the case of Calais Campbell, I think that maybe he wants to give some of the maybe younger guys a little bit more of that kind of tenacity. I'm not sure what kind of contract he's on. Was it 1 year, 4 year, 2 year? I'm not sure. All those
Yeah.
other guys they mentioned are all on extended late contracts.
Yeah,
So
but it doesn't matter. Even if you're here for 1 year, you're Calais Campbell.
yeah, and who knows? He might have opted out.
I
You know,
doubt
because
it. Please tell me an athlete who opts out of being a captain. I've not met one. I have not, because that is an honor to be a captain, and it speaks of your work ethic, and it just speaks. I've not met one person who has opted out of being a captain. Todd said all the talk about how he's a great leader for the Falcons, praise his leadership, yet they'll name him as a captain, and Cool, a kicker name. He don't even hardly speak English yet. I can't with Todd. I don't know if he really speaks English or not, but the fact that they have a kicker, when you said that the kicker was a captain, that did shock me. But
All right.
hey, that
Well,
just speaks. And
yeah,
captain, but he's in the Pro Football, and he was in the Falcon history, or either the longest Falcon of the two.
well, at the end of the day, what all those guys have in common, of course, Calais Campbell would have the same thing in common. All those guys have been named to at least one Pro Bowl. And I do think the fact that all these guys are mentioned here, they all have longer term contracts. I know you said it shouldn't make a difference, but I think it kind of that's their thinking. The guys are all younger, longer term contracts, and maybe that's kind of what they're thinking. I mean, I really don't know, but to me, I don't really have a real problem with it either way. As far as Ritter not being named, definitely not a problem with the guy. I mean, I understand about the quarterback being the leader of the team, but here's a guy that played 4 games last year as a starter. He was only officially named starter for the team this year as the real starter. And I got to tell you this, as much as I like Desmond Ritter, and I think he's going to do what he's got to do, I can assure you of one thing. If he slips even a little bit,
Am I frozen
the
or are
kid
you
they
frozen?
brought in from Washington, am I frozen?
You
Am I not
were.
moving?
I couldn't tell if it was. You're back now.
All right, we're back. All right, but anyway, yeah, I can tell you that the young man they brought in from Washington, they will bring him in at a heartbeat's notice. Now, again, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Ritter is going to handle his business, but there's no question in my mind. The young man they brought in from Washington, I watched his statements. He was saying all the right things, but his eyes had that intensity, like, hey, if this guy make any kind of slip, it's on and popping. And plus, he came from the same high school that guy we saw with Colorado, Tyler Hunter. Yeah, he comes from that same high school, Collins Hill, and those guys are winners. And the Falcons have seen him up close and personal because he knocked the Falcons off with a great come from behind victory with Washington. I think it was last year before last. So, if he slips, Taylor Heineke is waiting in the wings. All right, let's wrap it up here. A few more things from social media.
H.C. Hardy, with teams having an option of carrying 3 quarterbacks, there is a reason that the Falcons kept Woodside.
Yeah, and listen, I saw Woodside. That guy can throw the ball. I mean, I don't know why the guy's a third string quarterback. I mean, because he's got a good arm, very, very accurate. So good for the Falcons. All right, let's go 2 more comments on social media. We're going to wrap it up, boys.
Todd said, I want to ask D-Led who named the captains, the players or the coaches. That's a great question. I want to know that too.
Yeah, Goodlow will be on back with us next week. He was called to an assignment on 92.9 The Game tonight, so he cannot be with us, but hopefully next week. He had texted me earlier. He said, look, man, once the regular season starts, I will be back in the mix. So Goodlow will have all of his comments after hopefully a Falcon victory next week. Because if they don't win, this
And
fan
a
base is going
Lion
to go off
victory.
the rails. They're going to go off the rails.
And a Viking victory. Okay. H.C. Hardy said, after Young, Love, Goff, Lawrence, and Stroud, Heineke will start October 15th game against his former team, the Washington Commanders, which they will be 2-5.
Whoa.
Okay.
There's some shade there, Hardy. That's some shade. Come on, man. You sure they're going to be that bad, bro? I don't know. I mean, that's some major shade there. I mean, here's what I do know. The Falcons, the way they're set up is their schedule is front loaded. And what I mean by that is that four of their first six games are at home. So they're gonna, to me, after the midway point of the season, after six games, they can't be any worse than 500. Yeah, if they're worse than 500, then Houston, we have a problem.
I
Because
mean,
that
they
means that you would
can
be.
be, but
Yes, thank you. Yes, they can be, but it would not bode well for this team or the fan base if all of a sudden the Falcons, find themselves in that position, especially having that many games at home. Because they're going to have to, in order for this team to really win the way I think they can and should, they're going to have to win over this fan base right off the rip. So we can't have a situation where go ahead.
no, I'm listening.
I just think you got to win. I mean, and plus the team needs to get into that rhythm of winning. That's why I wish they had played anyway.
Yeah, now I agree with you. I don't have one disagreement with what you said. The problem that I have is that it just goes to show, like you said, they have to get the fan base, so they have to win to get the fan base. That's the problem that I have. Is that, again, like I've said before in the past, Atlanta does not have true dedicated fans. The fans are so finicky and wishy-washy. They want to come and support you when they're winning, but then if you're losing, they don't know you. They don't want to wear their gear. They don't want to come to the game. They're fair weather fans. They need to learn from Detroit fans. They need to learn from Tennessee fans. I mean, there's so many fan bases out there where it doesn't matter win or lose, their fans are going to support you, and they are going to still sell out the arena. They're still going to cheer you on. They're still going to be proud fans, and it doesn't matter if you win or lose. That's what loyalty is. So most of these Atlanta fans need to understand and learn the word loyalty and what it means.
Yeah, unfortunately, here in Atlanta, you don't have a legacy really of winning per se. Even though, interesting enough, they have been around. This is year number 56 or 57. So they've been around for a while. But this team just, listen, Atlanta.
What does that have to do with having loyal fans? Is that they don't have a legacy of winning? Neither does the Detroit Lions. We've never played in the Super Bowl. At least the Falcons have played in the Super Bowl.
Well, at least the great granddads can say, "I remember, son, when we were the NFL champions back in the 50s. At least y'all got some kind of championship pedigree of some type." And you've had obviously some Hall of Fame players. The Falcons have some too, but at the end of the day, this team
too. My husband played for the Falcons. He's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I mean, y'all, you got Deion Sanders. I mean, y'all got some Pro Football Hall of Famers too. So you can't say that. Again, loyalty. H.C. Hardy says, as Sister Jenkins would say, the Falcons just don't sit well in my spirit.
Yeah, I think really what it is, I think it's the way the Falcons have disappointed their fans by getting right there or having a team that should have won. As a matter of fact, good luck when we're going to bring him on. We're going to have some former Falcons come on. Kind of going to do like a Falcon flashback, so to speak. So I'm going to bring on one of their great all-time running backs, career cut off pretty quickly in his career, William Andrews. And we're going to talk about that 1980 team. Everybody thinks the Falcons team that went to the Super Bowl was their best team, but it really wasn't. It's that 1980 team, that team 12-4, best record in the league, had beaten the San Francisco 49ers during the year. And they themselves did the same thing the Falcons did in the Super Bowl. They were 24-6 against the Dallas Cowboys. That's back when the Cowboys were pretty darn good here in Fulton County Stadium. And had they won that game, San Francisco would have had to travel to Atlanta to play the Falcons. So who knows? The legend of Joe Montana might have never happened had the Falcons handled their business. But no, the Falcons did another. Well, actually, I guess with the beginning of the Falcon collapses, turned around, ended up losing the game 30-27, and they did not get back to playoffs again until Deion Sanders came in the 90s. So, yeah, it definitely. Okay, hang on a second. We got a few more from H.C. Hardy. Then we're going to wrap it up.
H.C. Hardy said, Eagles fly solo, crows fly in flocks. Go Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Wow. And one last
At least Jerome Bettis came back home to Detroit and won a Super Bowl. Well, yes, he He did win a Super Bowl in Detroit, playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I actually was at the, not in the building, but I came back for that Super Bowl and very excited about him. And yeah, that's still our boy, my fellow
the boss
Detroiter.
was a bad man. Well, speaking of bad men, we didn't have a lot of men on today, just me, but we did have a bad woman on, the Queen. And you know how we do it, guys. Before we get off the air, we want to make sure you. That's right. I'm just saying, boys. We like you to know more about our co-hosts and guests. So you know how we do it. Three Dolman, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. You can find me on social media at Purple Diva 13, as well as Ms. America International 2022. Please look at elshimon.com or at elshimon on all social media. I did just come out with my premium beard oil that a lot of men and a lot of women have been asking for their men, that will really help with your beard and the skin underneath. And it is really awesome from the people who have used it. Everyone loves it. And then also, I'm about to release my fall candle collection. I still have my summer and spring. So go ahead and shop at elshimoncandles.com. Thank everyone for their support.
And there it is. The Queen has spoken. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here real quick. Like I mentioned to you guys many times, I'm actually a real live minister. People ask me that from time to time. Are you really one? Yep, I didn't get it in a cardboard box or anything. I'm a really licensed minister. And so I want to encourage you, if you do not know the Lord Jesus Christ, your personal Savior, please, ma'am, please get to know him today. You can see this crazy world. Time is winding up. But the good news is, if you repent of your sins and believe that Jesus Christ came here, died for your sins, but rose from the dead, two great things happen. Number one, you become a citizen of the kingdom of heaven. How cool is that? But number two, you become an adopted child of God. So now you have all the rights therein. That means you now go to God like a heavenly parent, asking for anything that you need or desire, and according to his will, he'll give it to you. And when you leave here, you go to that wonderful place called heaven, where there's none of the following: no pain, no pandemic, no bad people. You never get old, you never die. You're never unhappy. All the sorrows are washed away. It's beautiful. Every building adorned with spectacular jewels, even streets paved with gold that's so pure it's translucent. And you avoid that nasty place called hell. All the things I mentioned in heaven will not be in hell. It's just the opposite. It's dark, it's dreary, it stinks, it's painful. But most of all, you cut off from God. Almighty Yahashua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, and all the people of love forever and a day. I don't know about you, but like option number one instead of option number two. All right, guys, until the next time we get back together again, we say God bless you and have a wonderful night or day, whichever may apply. So long, and God bless.
Coming up next.
Brian, I just want to say congratulations.